I guess it's not a legit company yet, but I've been calling my stuff Flatlander Forge. It's basically, Flatlander is like the Great Plains, and Flatlander Forge, it just kind of goes together. It's kind of in honor of Kansas and, made in America type of stuff. I've always liked making stuff, and I've always been like creating things. And when I was like in 5th or 6th grade, I saw this documentary on Viking sword making, and then I saw another one on Japanese sword making, and I just thought it was the coolest thing ever, the forging and everything. And then I set out to do it, and it took me like 7 or 8 years until I actually started forging. You gotta strike while the iron's hot, that's no joke. And once I did, I just fell in love with shaping metal and taking like a square of metal and turning it into a knife, and it just got obsessed with it right when I started. So most of my knives are high carbon steel, so a lot of the knives you get in the store are stainless and they don't hold quite as good an edge, but these high carbon steel knives, there's different sources. So there's like these saw blades, good source of high carbon steel. Leaf springs is one of my favorite. This is 5160. This is extremely tough steel. I can take like a 1/4 inch brass rod with a knife and chop through it, not even dent the edge up on this stuff, and still shave my hair with it. So high carbon steel is, I think, the way to go with knife blades. But I also use tractor discs. This is a rototiller tine from our tractors out here at the nursery. I just figure out what kind of steel it is and how to heat treat it properly, because there's different heat treating techniques for different steels. Because I start out with a square piece, and then I have to forge it down. I have to curve the blade down, and then I forge the cutting edge, and it brings it back up straight again. So I spent a long time making knives out of shitty steel. So just like an edging stake, or I just go to Home Depot and buy like strap metal, which is a mild carbon steel, and I'd make it look perfect, and it just would never hold an edge on it. And I finally was like, okay, there's something more to steel than just it being steel, and I started learning a little bit. This is when I was in like 6th or 7th grade, and I've been doing this shit a long time, making knives off and on as a hobby. Then one time I finally made this knife out of a file, and it kept a good edge. And I just sanded it down, ground it down and everything, but it kept its temper and everything, and it kept a good edge, and it was just awesome. It was my favorite knife I've ever used. And it was a functional knife. It was something that I made, and I took a lot of pride in that. I make all kinds of knives. So anywhere from like a carving knife right here, and this was made from a file. So there's knives for all different things. I even make woodworking tools. Like this is an old draw knife, old school woodworking tool. So it's used for shaping wood, kind of like this, but this is kind of a intricate old, kind of a lost woodworking tool. Pretty much anything with a cutting edge on it, I can manufacture it. So it's pretty neat. And a lot of the metal you get that's stainless steel just does not keep that good of an edge on it. I've came out here and finished like 2 or 3 of them from start to finish in one day. That's forging it, heat treating it, tempering it, doing the handles. That's like 14 hours of solid work to finish a couple knives. But I've also spent like 30 or 35 hours on one single knife. First blank. So then from there on, I'm gonna do a little more heat treating processes to it. I'm gonna normalize it a few times, and gonna do some pre-heat treat grinds to it. Then we do a quench where I get it up to critical temperature, which is a nice cherry red, and then I quench it in oil. Blacksmith is like the only craftsman that can make all of his own tools. And in the older times, the blacksmith was the craftsman that made tools for all the other craftsmen. And this whole mass merchandise, surplus, mass production stuff took that craftsman out of things for quite a while. And there was quite a long time where it was kind of a dying off of the craftsman, especially in our day and age. There's just not many kids out there getting their hands dirty and actually creating things. They're just saying, oh, I need something, I'll go buy it done, I'll hire my windows done, I'll hire my plumber done. Kids aren't getting out there and using their hands. And it's really a lost art, and it's something that needs to be, staying around. And could very easily, there's no need for blacksmithing anymore other than an art. And that's something I think is so unique about my knives, is that you're not only carrying a knife, you're carrying like a piece of art. I don't think that I'm just making knives. I feel like I'm making art out here, and I'm putting my heart into it. And it really is a passion for me. And the coolest part about it is I never know when I'm gonna start. I can have like a vision of I want a knife to look kind of like this, but whenever I end up, it's always way more cool than I thought it would be. And that's just one of my favorite parts about it, is leaving here and being like, damn, I never knew I'd make this. Like, I never knew I would be able to have this. And then something like this just pops out of, like, you know, my creation. So it's really fun, and just seeing my skill progress over like the last 8 or 9 months of really hammering it down. I can't wait to see where I go from here. So hammering it down.